Hey everyone, Senrai Kai here. Today I'm going to be talking a little bit about a game called Blue Archive. Some of you may know that I play this game. I've uploaded a few videos about it on the channel. Probably will do more in the future, but today I kind of wanted to talk about it because we had a little bit of a little bit of an internet community drama sort of thing in regards to it, and I kind of wanted to talk about it, right? So I figured we could do that. So let's bring up the tweet that kind of put me down the path of even knowing what's going on. Here is a tweet from the Blue Archive account, and let's go ahead and read it. Hello, Sensei. This is a Blue Archive. Just the person Blue Archive. We sincerely apologize for any confusion and concern caused by the Blue Archive influencer campaign. We take the valuable feedback you have shared with us very seriously. After internal review and discussion, we have decided not to proceed with this influencer campaign. Moving forward, we will strive to communicate in ways that better align with the direction of Blue Archive and the expectations of Sensei. We would like to sincerely thank all Sensei who continue to support Blue Archive and share their valuable feedback with us. We will do our utmost to deliver a better experience and continue improving Blue Archive. What a great post that was. Like, as far as everything you want to hear, like, a company's social media page say, like, I don't think you get much better than that, right? I've gotten so used to companies responding so terribly, a lot of time with hate or vitriol or whatever towards any towards feedback from the consumers, right? Because they decided that their way is the right way. Everyone that disagrees is just a bad person, and therefore, you don't listen to them, right? I've gotten so used to that, as sad as that is to say, that this was great to read. I was really happy, even though I had no idea what it was about initially. I had to look deeper to figure out exactly what the situation even was, but it was definitely a good thing to see. This was the first post that I found that actually gave me somewhat of an idea of what was going on, right? And I also found this as well, which I think pretty much got the point across, right? They invited aunties, right? Like, if you want like a very simple one short sentence explanation about what happened, I mean, that's it right there, right? So yeah, basically there was some kind of Twitch invent, sponsorship influencer campaign sort of thing, and featuring these people. And basically the Blue Archive community did not take too kindly to that, mostly because of the one on the bottom left. Honestly, I'm not too familiar with Zentrea, really. Iron Mouse, I've heard the name a lot. Never really heard too much bad about her. Like, I heard some drama in regards to the Streamer Awards involving her, but I don't care about that at all, so don't know much about that either. But Giga I've actually have, seen some of his content, like I know what he's about. He's fine, right? Like, maybe has some normie takes here and there, but I don't really dislike him or anything. But yeah, Sea Dog, Connor, this guy in the bottom left here, I think he's what really set this off, right? And from what I've heard from other people, he's like doesn't like gotcha at all. Just very not particularly anime friendly, just in any capacity, especially dislike towards lollies. And just out of everyone in this picture, he's probably the biggest throbbing normie out of the bunch, right? Like, it's gonna rub people the wrong way, Like, for one thing, the blatant hypocrisy of wanting to, promote something that you don't like at all just because you get a quick paycheck, right? Nobody's gonna be a big fan of any of that. But beyond that, I'm not too familiar with him, aside from obviously he's with Trash Taste, just like Giga is. But and the anime man. But like, just the clips I've seen of Sea Dog, like, yeah, he's not gonna like Blue Archive at all. So if he was to play it on a stream or whatever for a sponsorship, like, how would it even go, really? Either he shits on it the whole time or pretends to like it, while his audience, that obviously shares values, presumably, shit on it in their little chat. Like, no good would come of that at all, Like, I kind of get Blue Archive Nexon, their attitude, like, they want to, obviously the whole point of sponsorship is to get it to new eyes, but it's not really the case of new eyes so much as it is anti-eyes, right? Like, they're not gonna, even if he plays it on a stream, they're not gonna be like, become your customers, they're just gonna, shit on it, circle jerk together about how horrible the people that play it is. Like, nothing good is gonna come of that. So yeah, lo and behold, the actual Blue Archive community was pretty upset about all of that. So yeah, once I got all that context, then I looked back at the Blue Archive post. It all made much more sense, and I was even happier about it than I was upon the first read with their response to it. When it comes to gacha online communities, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think anyone is as united as the Blue Archive community is, right? Like, you see a lot of people, Genshin Impact I think is probably the biggest one of this, where the audience is kind of very dispersed. They all kind of want different things from it, and they're always complaining about, there's always somebody, some section of the community complaining about everything, right? Like different sections will complain about different things at different times, but just a lot of negativity, right? It doesn't really feel like a monolith the same way Blue Archive is. Of course, nobody's a complete monolith, but as far as feeling like an actual coherent community that are on the same wavelength with the same values, that'll like create that united front against a perceived enemy. Like, I don't think any gacha community really does that the same way Blue Archive does, right? And it's kind of like came out of necessity for the most part, because if you think of one gacha game that's like socially acceptable amongst gacha, overall gacha communities, to shit on that community, that game/community. I think Blue Archive is one of the biggest punching bags in that sense, because it has a bit more of a weird like fan base, because they're very passionate about their game. Yeah, they're very passionate about the game. Everyone has their own favorite student or multiple students that they love, and they'll consume their fan art for it and talk about and just have a great time with it. And they also, before I ramble too much, I'm basically just trying to say Blue Archive community, like, the Blue Archive community gets attacked by normies a lot because of, their passion and borderline unhingedness at times, right? So when it comes to the art of gatekeeping, there's really no game community that does it as well as Blue Archive, right? Because there's so many people that maybe they see a little bit of Blue Archive fan art, they get some interest in it, but like, they're going to be a problem if they actually come in. They're going to complain about a bunch of things, want a bunch of things changed, things that the actual existing community likes, Nobody likes those people. They're parasites. They infest anything and everything. Any kind of community that was really welcoming to new people, like Ruby is a good example of this. Eventually, you get corrupted from the inside, and just the host dies, they move on to something else, right? And, the Blue Archive community has always valued protecting as best they can. Obviously, you can't literally stop somebody from downloading a game, but you can definitely keep them at bay, keep their influence at bay of the overall existence, if that makes sense, right? You can do that. And the main takeaway from this overall situation is that speaking up does work, gatekeeping is worth doing. Obviously, you're not going to keep out everyone, but if you can keep out 90% of the bad actors that will just be nothing but toxicity and negativity into something you care about, it is always worth putting in a little extra effort to keep those people out. And this was such a satisfying situation, like, I'm not going to play them on stream. It's going to, piss me off again if I watch them. But, I've seen the clips of Connor and all that, Sea-Dog, VA, whatever he's called, right? And when you see stuff like that, you really just feel it, feel the desire to keep them away as best you can. That person, people that, like that person, like a field of locusts, like you put up the net, you keep them out, you try to keep up that net, you worry that it might get knocked back down because of the sheer force of it, and then you get some, I don't know, like God, get we'll just say like a demigod that can just like lend you some help and like fixate that net into place to like permanently keep them out. The god in this analogy is Nexon themselves, right? Because they're the ones that actually have the real power to say, okay, we're not gonna sponsor this person, and like, yeah, you put that net up there and they affix it into place, and yeah, all you can really do is feel a strong feeling of accomplishment, like a job well done, and you won, So yeah, I just want to talk about it a little bit. Before I finish out the video, I would like to kind of just maybe read some comments that I kind of liked on the subject. Like one guy said, "Don't mess with us Blue Archive fans. We actually care about the game that we play." The line goes pretty hard, right? Because It's true. Like you can't really compete with the passion that Blue Archive fans have for their game, and if you're their enemy, you're you have an army to deal with. Okay, not a bunch of individual people that might get triggered at individual times. You got an army of Blue Archive fans. So just know that before you fight them, I guess. One guy just said, "Get these normies out of our games." Pretty simple sentiment, but I fully agree. I'm honestly surprised and fascinated how fucking locked in the Blue Archive community is, especially since it's a mobile game. Huge fucking W for the Blue Archive gatekeeper at the front lines. A little bit of profanity in that comment, but this is another good one. I wish more communities were like the Blue Archive senseis. Gatekeeping is a necessity to filter out, moralists and tourists. And yeah, pretty much fully agree with that as well. Like, I'm sure many of you out there also have this experience where you really like something, and you used to like talking about it with others online, but not anymore. And yeah, you can't go back and undo it, so you really got to have a lot of respect for people that do fight the good fight to keep it as locked in and safe as you can, for as long as they can. This was a good one too. What do you expect? Of course it's Blue Archive, folks. Those fandoms does manage to uncover a corrupt scheme and blood drive too. Yeah, like, not gonna get into any of that here, but yeah, this is the first time the Blue Archive community came together and got something done. So yes, if you ever want to look into that, yeah, feel free to do so. But yeah, definitely, if you knew about that, you wouldn't mess with us. Nerds can be dangerous. That's all I'm saying. Last comment I'll read is, I feel a little bad for the other three that got caught up in it. It's really just Sea-Dog that shouldn't be a part of the stream. That was one thing that I was thinking about a lot as well. Because, yeah, like a couple of them I don't really know anything about. Giguk, he's cool. Like, he's got maybe a little bit of normie-ish lenience here and there. But for the most part, he's cool as well. But, like, basically, like, it's one of those cases where one rotten apple spoils a bunch. Is that a suitable, metaphor for this? Because, like, yeah, the whole thing ended up getting canceled basically because of one guy, Sea-Dog, because he's just that potentially cancerous, toxic for the environment he's going into, right? So, like, it's just unfortunate things had to go down this way. I just hope that the next time they just do better research into who they choose, not just, hey, these people have big fan bases that don't seem to already be playing our game. Let's throw money at them and get new players. It doesn't quite work that way. Like, as a good example, HoloLive. I remember when Blue Archive, the English version, first came out, Gar Gura of HoloLive played it, right? It was great, she enjoyed it. It's the kind of thing that she would enjoy, but even though she hadn't played it yet, that was perfect. Obviously, it's harder to find people that haven't played it yet, that are interested in it, the longer it's out. I understand that struggle, but you gotta do better than this, okay? On the flip side, great viral marketing, like, obviously the whole point of this was to market the game, but if you want to get the word out, get people talking about it, this whole drama was perfect for it, no such thing as bad publicity. Good example of that, right? So, yeah, I think overall it's a massive win for the Blue Archive community. The Blue Archive as a company, as a game, right? I'm a little bit curious how Sea-Dog is gonna cope over this, like, I'm just kind of curious, like, what level of hate he's gonna spew as a result of this, because he already doesn't like the people that like Blue Archive, looks down on them, has a negative opinion of them, condescending and all that. So I could just picture the kind of hateful rhetoric he's gonna spew as a result of being butthurt from getting kicked out of it, like, I'm not gonna watch it, obviously, but I'm a little bit curious, because people are gonna ask him about it for sure. So I'm a little bit curious, not curious enough to actually look for it, but it's something that's certainly on my mind. I guess on a final note, the last thing I'll say is, if you haven't played Blue Archive, give it a chance. I might make a video at some point on the channel, just like a big old review of Blue Archive, talking about why I like it and all that good stuff. But it's very good. Like, the story, one of the best I've experienced in a game. Obviously, it's not complete because of the nature of a gacha game, but it is really good. I love the universe where it's comprised of multiple schools in an overall giant city, like country-sized city. The individual school districts are like smaller countries themselves, really, with their own culture and everything, and certain rivalries and relationships and everything. And you got Sensei Yu, the main character, at the center of it all, kind of being the middleman, trying to keep things. I mean, he's a sensei, right? Trying to keep all the students under control, happy, content, not fight each other too much. Try to keep the peace as best he can, but also get pulled into a lot of crazy stuff. And as far as the actual roster of characters, these are the ones that I have. It's great, I mean, there's definitely some spoilers here if you look at it too closely, but like, because you have a lot of character alts. Like some gacha games, they have like skins and stuff. I don't think Blue Archive really does that. It just has alternate. They have the same character, but like a different version of them with a different outfit and a different skill set, rather than like putting a new outfit on the existing one. So you wouldn't have like one Yuka in a pajama set. You have a regular Yuka and a pajama Yuka as two completely different characters, right? So I do like that as well. And also it's an only female cast. So if you don't want to pull the gacha just for dudes, you just want your waifus, build up your giant harem. This is great for that. Not a lot of gachas do that, so I do really appreciate that, for sure. And a lot of characters just look great. You got Dress Hina. She's probably my most powerful character, but she's just single target DPS, explosive type, just does crazy damage. You got Kisaki, one of my favorite characters as well. They also give you different backgrounds to choose from, like this one's Hiroko Terror. But like, they got a lot of great ones. I already showed a few off in the video. But as long as you've unlocked one, you could just click on it and see what it's all about. What would be a good one to click on? I do like Mika's. We could try Mika's. So it just shows you a little bit of an intro animation for it. You see those bedroom eyes from Mika as she is just insanely cute, a little bit seductive, great blush, and then it just settles down into being the background. Got her little wings decorated. I think only her and Elsa actually decorate their wings like that. But right now we do have like 100 free pulls currently. Like I'm trying to get this girl here, swimsuit Seiya. Haven't got her yet. 60 pulls later, no luck. But you get another extra 10 free pulls every day, so fingers crossed on that. And when I get her, of course, I'll get her next. She's just got a massive presence, see that watermelon? So, yeah, the goal is to pull her naturally, then like spark for her. That's kind of, the intention, but not going super well so far. But yeah, the story is great. The characters are great. I think the characters are probably the best. If I had to pick one thing that's the best about Blue Archive, it's the characters. There's so many of them, yet there's a lot of different personalities, a lot of very charming, appealing characters, and the rivalries and stuff you get between the different schools is great, particularly between Gehenna and Trinity. You got kind of like the bad demon, devil-themed characters. Like a good example of that would be Satsuki. Yeah, Satsuki, like she's got literal devil horns here, so she's from Gehenna, right? So they're the more devil demon kind of aesthetic. And then on the flip side, you have characters like Mika from Trinity that are more like Ojo-sama, a rich girl, like angels, And I think that's such a cool idea. And then you got like Millennium, which is a school of nerds, which is like where Yuka goes. They're the newer school, less history, but they kind of advance themselves to the forefront of importance, of being a world power due to their technological advancements. And I think that lore aspect is really, really cool as well. Because besides them, Gehenna and Trinity were the top dogs. And the only reason Trinity was a top dog is because it combined like 3 different schools into one big one. Thus, Trinity, 3. Right? And then there's like Abydos, which is what Hoshino is from, who like used to be a top dog school, like probably better than Gehenna and Trinity. But it's like a shell of its former self because of sand desertification, whatever they call it. Just some really cool lore and world building, but also not too overwhelming, because there's been a couple gacha games I wanted to play, but like the story was just too much to take in, like a little bit overwhelming for me. But I think Blue Archive strikes a pretty good balance with having a world building, lore, setting, and everything that's really interesting, makes you want to learn more, delve into it, but without being like, this is too much for me, I'm out. I think it strikes that balance very well. So another thing I like about it a lot. You also, of course, have Yaki Yaka Ding Dong. That's the Japanese, kind of self-insert school. That, and then you have the Shanghai Jing, whatever, the Chinese insert school, which is where Kisaki's from. You got Red Winter, if I can find Cherino on here. Yeah. That's supposed to be like, I think, Soviet Russia kind of themed. But she's great as well. She's got that mustache. That's obviously fake. But but those are all minor schools. Like the three big ones are Gehenna, Trinity, and Millennium. But the other schools matter too. Like where's the Shupagaki? Because they're a part of another school whose name I don't remember. It's probably under the list. Yeah, Highlander Railroad Academy. That's what it is, right? And they're all about like the railroad. Again, not one of the big schools, but still fun to learn about. So yeah, it's a great game. You should play it. That's my final note. But yeah, thank you for watching and hope to see you in the next video. Until then, bye-bye.